18 pages long paper. The tag is only like 60 minutes from the Christopherson. Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
We just start. We
That's
haven't
great.
started discussing the questions. Do we want to assign the, um, the leader and the summary person?
I can lead.
Okay.
That's okay. I can do either. If someone else would rather lead, I'll do summary. I don't care.
Yeah, I can do summary if I haven't missed too much already. I don't care either.
Okay, we're just barely starting, Melissa.
Okay, I'll get out a pencil. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Well, the first question is, what did you read from chapter 9 that gave you hope for the future?
For me, was the that he said at the end that like he went to different universities. This is what I wrote. This. There are many people that can still change their mind about marriage once they are informed with a rational case for marriage. Not sometimes not just with Bible verses, as many don't believe in the Bible or religion, but we listen when presented with well researched, credible data instead of just creating their opinions from what the media portrays without checking their facts. And I like how he said the last quote from him is rebuilding over decades, perhaps the intellectual and moral infrastructure of a society that can once again appreciate the truth about marriage. And I guess the key word is rebuilding for me because we can start over, not start over, but we can start rebuilding what is like happening right now. So I guess without the efforts, how you talk in the other chapter, it's a matter of the people that believe the same, joining forces and trying to work as a team to bring awareness to those people. Like they say, they are sometimes in the fence, of the right and the wrong side. But when we give them the information, then they can make up their minds with like better information, better understanding. So that's for me. That's what it's called. That it can still be fixed. That working with people that make laws, we educating ourselves about how the system works. We can support those laws or even help create those new laws to protect and defend marriage. That's what I think.
That was good. I kind of had the same thoughts as Julia, that there's still hope. I liked how he talked about college students and that a lot of times college students are on the fence. They might not think they are, but then once you go and talk to them about the facts, that they're more open to understanding the truth about marriage. And then how he talked about joining with other groups, other churches, and working together to be a bigger voice. I thought that was inspiring.
For me, I thought that with like all the things we've been studying this semester, it seems like most of the laws and things are against traditional marriage. So it was nice to see a few examples that there are people still trying to, be an advocate for traditional marriage, and that there needs to be a way for people to learn how to like agree to disagree, if you will. Like that example about I think it was the Jewish pizza place where it's like, be respectfully, we're not going to serve you because that's not what we believe in, but people shouldn't feel attacked by that. And again, I did like the college student example because the views of marriage and all that stuff is being portrayed by the media is really like the only main source of information coming in. And so when they're presented with other options and they're more informed, then they respond better to traditional marriage. So it just goes to show that the more we can put out there, the more we can kind of balance the information coming in.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was thinking the same things. I really love that story of the Jewish pizza place and how the people sent in so much money that they were able to do a charity, that they were able to help that Baronel lady who did the bakery. And I loved that one of the same people with same gender attraction wrote in and said, I am so sorry for how you've been treated, because I do feel like the media makes this into I just feel it's twisted the way that they portray it. And so it was super hopeful to read these different stories of good people and positive experiences. And I love that he listed specific organizations in the book so that we know, who we can research and support and kind of, I don't know, give us ideas of where we can put our time and energy into helping this cause. Because in some of the chapters before, I just kind of felt hopeless. I felt like, well, it's done. Like these laws are made and the judges have, usurped the authority, and now we're just stuck with this. And this last chapter made me feel really hopeful. Like individuals can make a difference, and if we take like the long view and the eternal perspective, I like how he compared it to the fight on abortion and pro-life. How I know they felt defeated way back when that first really came out, and to see how people's minds have changed and how science and social science have worked together to help change minds. And so I liked that. I felt like if we're educated in a way that we can help people understand why marriage is important, why marriage between a man and a woman is important to society, without it being just oh, because gays are wrong or gays are bad or the Bible says, but logical reasons. It makes me feel like there's a lot of hope for turning the tide and helping people to speak out. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. The last thing I really loved was that there were certain states who took it upon themselves to put that in their charter or in their state laws or whatever to protect the religious liberty. Michigan, and I can't remember which other, Utah, and I hope that that more people will speak out and press their legislature, um, their people, the politicians, to protect these religious freedoms and to do more. And I just feel like we try to be nice and we don't ever want to offend people, but we really need to make our voices heard. So that's what I took away.
That was good. You mentioned the laws in Michigan and stuff, and it reminded me that I realized that we can speak our mind without offending people, but really there's a middle ground. And like you were saying, how media makes it like polarized, there really is a middle ground. No one is saying that people with same-sex attraction are evil or terrible or all these things, and it's okay to have that middle ground. It really is possible. It gave me hope for that.
Yeah, I think like the fact that the church has now like be more, I don't want to say open, but more aware of like the struggle of this community, that they are offer make programs and offer like helps for them to be normal members, and give them that hope, like, hey, you can still be a member and work in your salvation, and you have a normal life. We're gonna offer you the tool that you need, and you can do it. You don't have to like give into those feelings that you're struggling. They understand that you knew, we all knew our struggle that we're gonna have here when we were with our Heavenly Father, and that knowing that, having the knowledge and understanding that they can know that we love them, we can help them to be part of the church and have the blessings that Heavenly Father have for them. So I feel that they're still um, there's so many hope for them, are and like we having a normal relationship as children of God. We're here to help each other. So I think that there's a lot of things that we can do. Michelle, your mic is off. I think you're talking, but I think Rachel wants to talk about. Okay, there you go.
Sorry, can you hear me now? You can hear me? Okay, sorry. Okay. Will you use your time today to make a difference tomorrow? So time today, make a difference tomorrow. Sorry, that makes more sense. Will you use the time today to make a difference tomorrow? Absolutely. I really liked how it talked about, gosh, sorry, I'm looking for the quote. How President Eyring talked about how your time is precious. Your effectiveness as an advocate will largely be determined by your use of time. Referring to time as capital received from our Heavenly Father, he says, your inheritance is time. It is capital far more precious than any lands or stocks or houses you will ever get. Spend it foolishly and you will bankrupt yourself and cheapen the inheritance of those that follow you. Invest it wisely and you will bless generations to come. And I like that because I feel like, you know, that is all that we have to give, you know, is this time. We have this limited amount of time here on earth. And I feel like that's how we prove ourselves. What we do with our time. Are we just self-serving, or are we trying to serve God and build up the kingdom? And little things that we do today in every way, you know, what we eat, whether we choose to exercise or not, whether we choose to spend our money or invest it. I just feel like the little things that we do today and spend our time on, the books that we read or the shows that we watch, they add up to habits, and then they add up, you know, to patterns and a full lifetime. It's kind of what creates our character. And so I think that, you know, the way we use our time today makes a huge difference for our future, for who we become, and I think it affects everyone around us. So,
yeah, I agree. Sometimes when I read things like Elder Eyring talked about time, or Elder Christofferson's consecration, I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, am I doing enough? And because I can always do more, right? There's always more to do, but it's helpful to have a focus of our family is the most important, right? Okay, so I'm going to focus on my family, or I really can't do everything. So what is the Lord asking me to do today? Otherwise, I get overwhelmed with okay, we only have so much time and make sure and use it wisely. I like freak out. I know that sounds crazy, but I do. And so when Elder Christofferson talked about just things that we shouldn't spend our time on, you know, not watching immoral things, or I'm like, oh, okay, I don't do any of those things. So I felt a little better, but as far as what I can do for family advocacy, sometimes I struggle with that. I'm like, what really can I do other than work with my own family today? I looked up some of the corporations or organizations that were listed in chapter 9, and they're all for lawyers, at least that I saw, those 3. They weren't really for like just the average person. So I wonder how I can get involved and how I can use my time right now to get involved with an organization that I'm qualified for. Sorry, that's a lot of rambling, but that's ultimately my question. How can I get involved with a corporation that's not for lawyers?
but I just have to say, Melissa, I think right now you are doing something, because I think just like taking this class and becoming educated, I feel like helps us so we can have conversations at the grocery store or with a neighbor or with, you know, with an extended family member. And I feel like just you taking this class, you're using your time wisely. I don't know. For me, I feel like that's a huge step towards advocacy, is becoming educated and informed.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, and we talk a lot about advocacy starting in the home, which is kind of where I'm at right now. Because I've always been like, oh, I'll wait till I graduate, and then I realize like I'm graduating like a year from now. So then I have to figure out what I'm gonna do. And my plan was always like, oh, you're gonna be a counselor. You'll figure out what kind of counselor eventually. And I never thought of the role in the community that would play, like whether it's in a school or like if I work for the church. So this has kind of showed me that kind of wherever I go with my future career, I'm going to have to be an advocate, and that takes time. It can't just be something that I kind of do. Like I kind of want it to be something that people know without me being pushy, like they just kind of know where I'm at because I talk about it and I talk about it well. But right now, I think with my time, because I'm so focused on like, okay, how am I going to get through this semester and all this other stuff, and how am I going to do that? And for whatever reason, I found out I'm having a little girl, and I'm like, I have to be better. Like the world is terrible for women. I have to like get good at this before she comes here, so that like I can teach her and my son. I don't know. I feel like my son knows his way around pretty well, but I'm like, I want to be better educated. I want to start it in my home. So then when I'm out in the community, when my kids are out, like we're all kind of, I don't want to say it's like a virus, but that's what my mind goes to. It's like we're like slowly infecting other people just through our interactions. So yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know how to get involved like in my community right now, but I think for now in my home, and then hopefully someday in my career, I'll be able to make a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, congratulations, Cindy. Yeah, like you guys said, this class really teach me a lot. Like I didn't even have an idea of what to expect from this class, but every week, every lesson, is make me motivated to do something, and it's good that the lessons do like give you ideas, or make you ponder about the things. And we start in the family, like all of you said, start like preparing our kids for what the world is, like I don't know, like that the make sure they understand, their true nature, make sure they are strong in their beliefs, they have a solid base, so that all the things that are gonna face in the world don't shake them or don't like confuse them. So if we start in our houses to be advocates, they're gonna grow with a strong foundation that and be able to defend families and you know um, help others too. So we can start that in our homes. And I think that there is a lot of organizations that are just for the community. If we go through to our local community centers, we're gonna find a lot of organizations like those that we can volunteer. Like I'm gonna do probably my internship on December of next year. So I am like in my mind I start thinking where can I go, and I wanna go to my community center and look for classes that they give to parents, how educate them about like building stronger families. And I know that they have all these organizations that I can help with. And I have always been interested on working with families that have like struggles like domestic violence, or kids, foster kids and all that. Not much as counseling, because I don't feel that I'm gonna be good at it, but more like interacting with them and things to like more like activities to do with them. Um, so that's in my mind what like like getting from these classes to how I can help advocate. Just I guess we start little by little until we get to the point that those people that have gone to the UN and chat. I know like in some of the classes that they were given opportunities to take some students there just to watch and learn. Like with our articles, like when they decided to publish or not, that can affect someone that will read it. So there's a lot of things that, this class help us do, and that we're already doing it, and we can do, of course, a lot more. So I'm glad that, I took this class, and that make me be more aware and give me the motivation to do something, not just like, okay, that's good, but really like apply all this knowledge into my life. And that's it. Rachel, your mic is off again.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Sorry, ladies. Okay, do you personally feel that time is more valuable than money, education, or health? Why or why not? I thought that was kind of a tricky question because I feel like time goes hand in hand with all of that. Like you have to have time to be able to gain an education, and you put time into eating properly, cooking, exercising, and you put time into making money. And so I feel like, I don't know, I just thought that was a tricky question. I feel like time is incredibly important, and I do feel like that's our biggest stewardship, is how we use our time and where we invest it. And so I guess in that sense, it is like more valuable than anything what we do with our time. But um, if we don't invest in education or health or these other things, then our time doesn't mean as much. I mean, you can have a really long life, but if you're not investing it in important things, then it doesn't matter. And you can have a short life, but if you're filling it, investing it in good things, then I don't know that it's, how much time you have, but what you do with your time. So that was my takeaway.
Yeah, I feel the same, like it's hard to pick one because they are all related to each other, with each other. But I see how time can be a main factor um, to determine what we do with all the things that we have, with our money, with our health, with our education. We can have all of that, but if we don't do anything, we don't invest our time wisely, then none of those things are going to matter, like Rochelle said, you know. So I think it is important that we understand the what to do with our time, how to invest it properly. Um, like the quote that you read from Elder Irene, that it's so important that we understand that we have an older Christopher said that we're given time and freedom to choose. So that's gonna determine if we are worth it to come back to Heavenly Father. We use our times wisely to work in our personal uh, progress, and by helping others, and that means ourselves and our families and everybody else. So I think it's just like everything related, but yeah, I can see how time it can be a key factor.
Yeah, because you need all those things in life. And I think that you don't necessarily have to have lots of money or education to do good things, but putting forth the effort to have more of an education or better health or having a little bit more money does allow you to help more. So I think time is important because it comes down to how you make the most of what you have with your time. Because not everyone's going to have the same opportunities, but I still think everyone can help in some way or the other. Like right now, I can't do much, but I can volunteer. I can do some things. I'm working on my education, but who knows what kind of position I'll be 10 years from now. But the way I spend my time now will affect the kind of decisions I'm going to make 10 years from now. So they all kind of overlap. But I mean, it was kind of hard to give like a clear yes or no answer, but I do think time is important with how you choose to use it.
I don't like that question. I don't like that it says more important, because they're all important. I think that time is foundational, that we all have 24 hours in a day. And time is what helps us balance money and education and health and family, because we realize we don't have unlimited time. I can't spend forever on money or education. I have to balance those, and that's where time that's what time is supposed to help us do, I think, to help us realize that we need to have a balance. We need to work in lots of areas, and we have a limited resource of time, and that's okay. But because we do, we need to be careful of making sure we put in a little bit of time into each of those areas, because it's important to have money. It's hard to feed your family if you don't have money. So anyway, so I think it's more foundational, not that it's more or less important.
Very well said. Sorry, can you guys hear me now? Very well said. So, Melissa, do you have the summary? Were you doing that? Is that okay?
Yep. Okay, so we talked about in chapter 9 what gives us hope from chapter 9. And we talked about that some people are still open to changing, and we need to work together to help change people's opinions in positive ways toward traditional marriage. That there are places that are setting the examples of pro-family laws, and we need to support those. And then we also brought up that the church is welcoming of people with same-sex attraction, that they need to work on their salvation just like the rest of us do, and it's not an exclusive us or them thing. We all need to work together. We talked about how to use our time, that little things add up, that we need to use our time to advocate for the family, even if right now that means just working in our own families, but that influence will spread over time to the community, and we need to use our time to apply the knowledge that we've learned in this class. And then we talked about, is time more valuable than money, education, or health? I think we all kind of decided it's hard to put one over another. I liked the comment that time is a stewardship, and we need to invest it in important things such as education. But overall, we decided we need to use our time wisely to meet all of our needs. So that was it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Melissa. And thank all of you ladies. This is our last time, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
next
share
week.
with one of,
Well, it was nice working with you. Good luck on your finals.
Yeah, thank you for all that you taught me. I learned a lot from you, and I'm like very happy that we were together in this group. Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Have
Bye.
a Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Good luck in class finals.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.